Guys, I want us to talk about what people are saying on social media concerning Eddie Nketiah after his performance with Crystal Palace over the weekend in the FA Cup against Fulham. A lot of people were impressed with his performance to the extent that people are putting him in the conversation where they feel like the GFA should go back and convince him or persuade him to switch nationality and play for Ghana. Just like I did for Callum Hudson-Odoi, do we still need Eddie Nketiah in the Black Stars team? Looking at how well we are performing, let me know your answer down below in the comments. In today's video, we are going to talk about Jojo, Wollacott, Antoine, Semenyo, Felix Afena-Gyan. We're going to talk about Lawrence Agyekum amongst many others. But before we jump into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. My name is Adam. You're watching SportsCornerGH. Quickly, let's jump into it. And I want to begin with Felix Afena-Gyan. This player, if you want to talk about him, both of us will cry, because he's one player that I have loved, especially during the time we needed him when he was playing for AS Roma, when we needed him for that 2022 World Cup, that 2 games we played against Nigeria. We're not having a striker. He was the one we were looking up to. We said, oh, the next Asamoah Gyan, he has the Gyan name, everything is going to be okay. He came, he delivered. But guess what? The World Cup, we dropped him. And this player, ever since, his career has just gone down flat. He moved from Italian Serie A side AS Roma to Italian Serie B side Cremonese, then to Juventus next gen in the Italian Serie C. But you see, sometimes in life, that is how it is. You need to go back there to restart. You don't have to fall down flat. When you fall down flat, you restart. You do what you have to do and get back up again. And the good thing is that at Juventus next gen, he's playing very well. He's scoring goals, he's giving assists. In fact, if you go to the club now, he's part of the second highest goal contributors. Felix Afena-Gyan is really doing well. And I believe the GFA should, put their eyes there. He's doing so well there. But then the good news is that his performance did not go unnoticed. The new coach of Juventus, the new coach, has invited him and other players to be part of Juventus first team training. This is a step in the right direction because, you see, I'm wearing Juventus because of the boy. The thing is, Juventus are inviting him to be part of the first team training. It's just the coach giving an idea to these kids that train with these players, train very well. When the opportunity arises, I'm going to slot you in so that you can also play. So for me, Felix Afena-Gyan may bonfire man fasting and prayers so that when he gets the opportunity, he delivers. Once he can do that, and the new coach likes him, that is it. He sticks with the first team. So for me, I'm really excited to hear this. This is good news for Felix Afena-Gyan. I want to see him back playing for the national team. Not necessarily the Black Stars. It could be any of the junior nations. It doesn't matter. He should come back. Even if it's the Black Stars, I'll be really excited. But again, guys, this is the updates that has to do with Felix Afena-Gyan, and I really love it. Now, let's move on and talk about Eddie Nketiah. Just like I asked you at the beginning of the video, would you be okay if he comes back to the national team? Like, we go back to him, we talk to him, try and convince him, and then he decides to play for the Black Stars. Do you think Ghana needs Eddie Nketiah as at this moment? Let me know your answer down below in the comments, because for me, he's doing well with Crystal Palace. I'm not going to lie. Anytime he gets on that pitch, he delivers. He hardly plays a lot of games, especially, in EPL like this. He normally comes off the bench. But most of his goals have come in the EFL Cup or the FA Cup. He has a total of 5 goals, 2 assists, just like, Callum Hudson-Odoi. So if you really want to make an argument for Callum Hudson-Odoi to return back to the national team, then definitely you have to make an argument for Eddie Nketiah too, because he's having similar goals and also assists just like Callum Hudson-Odoi. But then after he performed for Crystal Palace against Fulham, people looked at his performance, they were impressed, and you go on social media and people are like, hey, GFA, look sharp. Eddie Nketiah is doing well. He's scoring. In fact, he has scored 3 goals in his last 6 games. That alone should tell you this is a player who is growing in confidence. The form is coming. And Nketiah has this song that normally they sing for him when he scores goals. The defense is in trouble. Nketiah in the room. Bro, that song, imagine say like he come Ghana, like he could be banged out. But then this is a player we have spoken to before. Getting to the 2022 World Cup. He did not budge. He did not try to, do anything. Should we go again? That is me, my problem. And even looking at the Black Stars, do you know where we are the most equipped? It's our wingers. All of them are performing at their club side. Inaki, Semenyo, Kamaldin, Kudus, Joseph Pencil, Obiabo. So are we going to bring someone who also does similar things like what we already have? I mean, that is based on my own opinion. But then let me hear from you. Do you think we still need him in the national team? Now let's move away from him and talk about Jojo Wollacott over the weekend. Wow. Most of these players are leaving the Black Stars with some renewed confidence because Jojo Wollacott was in goal post for his club, Glory Town. They played against Rotterdam. And that game, Jojo Wollacott kept a clean sheet. And this is the first time he's keeping clean sheet in 128 days. That is huge. That is really, really huge. Like for the player, for the goalkeeper, because currently when it comes to goalkeeping conversations here in Ghana, it's like we take Jojo Wollacott out and we are talking about only two goalkeepers, Benjamin Asari and Ati-Zigi. It's like we don't know Jojo Wollacott is also part of the goalkeepers. But he's trying to tell us that, hey, don't forget what I did for you guys. When we played against Nigeria, I took you guys to the World Cup. Even though I did not play in the World Cup, I took you there. Yes, he's a good goalkeeper. But sometimes it's your team that you play. Sometimes it takes marks off of you. But then he's one goalkeeper that has returned back to the club side and he's performing very well. So guys, this is the update that has to do with Jojo Wollacott performing very well for his club side. Now let's move away from that and talk about another Black Star player who left Black Star team with some grace, went back to his club side and he's doing very well over the weekend. Lawrence Agyekum, wow. Now this boy had his debut call-up with the Black Stars, played his debut game with the Black Stars against Chad, and he went back to his club side and he's showing everybody what it takes to play the Black Stars. Now, Cercle Brugge were playing in the relegation round, and in that game, he scored a goal and gave an assist. And I was really, really impressed with the way he played, Lawrence Agyekum. Now, in that game, he played close to the end of the game and he was substituted around the 80th minute. And guess which player came to replace him? Francis Abu. Now, Francis Abu comes into the game and receives a red card. Francis Abu, I see you. Now, Francis Abu receives a red card in that game. When players are having grace and they are playing for their club side, Francis Abu comes in and receives. Now, this same player, when we playing against Madagascar, he received a yellow card. He got to a point I was scared he was going to get a red card. But it is something that he needs to take very critical, especially with the kind of play the way he plays. He's a box to box. And yes, obey some tackles that would, affect your team. But then, guys, that game ended in a 2-2 draw. That Cercle Brugge played. And I mean, these two players, they played pivotal roles for their club side. It's just unfortunate that Francis Abu picked up a red card in that game. Now, let's move away from these two players and talk about another player that, honestly, I wasn't happy with what happened to him over the weekend. Antoine Semenyo. He featured for Bournemouth in the FA Cup game against Man City. They lost by 2-1. That means Semenyo's club are out of the FA Cup. I'm not happy about it, but then it is what it is. They were playing against a stronger opponent in Man City. And Man City this season, they know they can't win anything apart from that FA Cup. So they are wild. They are wild for that FA Cup. And I mean, they took it like very nice. I'm not going to even complain about that. So Man City did their bit, won that game. Antoine Semenyo and Bournemouth are out. I'm not happy about it, but then it is what it is. Now let's talk about these two players who play for AZ Alkmaar and the wonders they are doing. Now one is a Black Star player and one is a prospect who could switch nationality and play for the Black Stars. Now I'm talking about Ibrahim Sadiq. He has been called up to the Black Stars for some time. I mean, he also about beneath, but this player is doing wonders at AZ Alkmaar. He has scored back-to-back goals in back-to-back games for AZ Alkmaar. Now, in their game they played against NEC, against a team called NEC, NEC. I mean, the name, I hope I got it right. He scored a goal in that game. In their previous game they played against Ajax, he scored a goal. This is a player with full of confidence, scoring goals, doing very well for a club side. I hope in the next call-up, he gets the attention of Otto and comes into the team. Ibrahim Sadiq is a very fantastic player, very, very good player, by all standard. I mean, guys, this player, I know most of you remember him with the Black Stars. Very, very good player. The next player is Ernest Poku, who also plays for AZ Alkmaar. He scored a goal over the weekend. And he's one player, I believe, the GFA are keeping an eye on. He's a very good player, plays for AZ Alkmaar with Ibrahim Sadiq. Fantastic player by Ostana. I mean, person like Asabebri. Go to YouTube, enter the name Ernest Poku. You see what I'm talking about. Very, very good player. I don't want to even talk too much. You see, in Chilean Camphone, I need to understand. Hey, we the question highlights, the highlights will blow the guy's trumpet for him. So, guys, that is the update that has to do with these two players playing for, AZ Alkmaar, Ibrahim Sadiq and also Ernest Poku. Now, let's move away from that and talk about my last update that has to do with Caleb Moko Poha. Caleb Moko Poha. Now, Caleb Moko Poha is an English-born Ghanaian player with Crystal Palace. Now, the good news you are receiving from Crystal Palace is that this defender, is on the verge of agreeing a 4-year deal with Crystal Palace. Now, he's a very young boy going through the Crystal Palace system, their youth system. But, Crystal Palace are making sure that they seal the boy's future with them. They don't want other teams, trying to sway the boy away from them. So they want to seal his future with a 4-year contract. Now, this boy has made his debut with, Crystal Palace senior team before. He played with them in the EPL way back in 2023 and also played with them in the Carabao Cup against Arsenal. That's when he made his full debut in the Carabao Cup against Arsenal. So he's not new to what Crystal Palace are all about. And Oliver Glasner, the coach of Crystal Palace, is excited with this player. Now, you heard the name, Moko. It's an L name and number 9 name. My brothers, GFA. I've mentioned your names like 10 times in this video. Go watch out. Correct player. And I know what you're going to say. I mean, they hype the players then since he wasn't born yet. Just try. You can't have all your players play from Ghana here. You understand? Some players, it's not their fault that they are being born outside. Some of them is because you have no one to talk to them. Go and talk to them and see whether they will not come. Caleb is one player that Oba. So don't rush. Don't rush. Don't waste time. Go talk to the player. Talk to Caleb. He's a Ghanaian. Remind him that, hey, if Ghana how sometimes he's from like Nketiah or Addo somewhere. You understand? So, guys, this is the update I have for you concerning some players who performed very well over the weekend. Let me know your thoughts about it down below in the comments. I'll make sure to bring you more live here. My name is Adam. We'll make sure to see you in the next one. Charlie, we go bye.